So from the previous video, at the end, we show you how to find the location for the student for the account ID equal to 1000 or 4000. But after we find that account, do you know this account is an account object or a CDAccount object? So that's why here, we don't know if this one is account or CDAccount. How should we do specific action? So this one here is, we just say, for example, after we find that account object, but if this object is an account object, I want to get the balance. But if that's a CDAccount object, I want to get the mature balance. So how should I do that? So here, let me show you. Like earlier I said, when you try to find the account ID 3000, you can either, like we have before, you do the contents first. If they contains this object, I continue. Otherwise, I just skip. So after I know they contains this object, I find the index. So then I using the get I to get that, to retrieve that object. Or the other way is you can combine together. We can using the index of. So if we use the index of, actually if I have this object, I will return you this index number for this object. But if I don't have this object, the index will return -1. So on the other hand, if you just try to use the index of method, we need to check the value. Only the index greater or equal to 0. That means this object being found. Otherwise, I didn't find that object. So if I find account ID equal to 3000, I want to see if this account object is a CDAccount. So that's why I continue using the if statement. The first part for the if statement, we just want to check, do I have account ID equal to 3000? If I have, then right, let's check if this object is the instance of CDAccount. So if this one is CDAccount, good. Please give me the mature balance. So instead, in order to invoke the get mature balance, so CDAccount is a subclass of account class, right? So that's why here we need to, after we get the I, okay? So because your list, the array list, earlier we defined this array list data type is, the list data type is account. So that's why when we get index, we get I, the list will return you what? They will return you a account object. So then this account object actually cannot invoke get mature balance. But since we already know this one is a CDAccount, so that's why we do the downcasting. So after you do the downcasting, I can get the mature balance. So here, this example is to show you, right, I can using the account ID to find if I have this account or not, because we implement equals method in the account class. Then continue. After I get this account object, I want to check if this account object is a CDAccount object. So then we will invoke the get mature balance. So you will need this one actually for your assignment 7. So now we finish most thing I want to cover in module 7, which is in chapter 11. So then actually the last one I want to talk about is the protected keyword. We talked about earlier a little bit, but we didn't really give you the example. So here is, remember when we talk about all the keyword, we have public, we have protected, we have default, we have private modifier, access modifier in Java. So then here, actually, this one is the visibility to compare those 4 different keywords to see what is the accessibility or visibility. So I want you to read from these 4 slides to see how we were using the public keyword, protected keyword, default keyword, and the private keyword. Because this one actually we already kind of talk about public, private, and default. So now after we add the protected, so the protected member of a class actually can be accessed from a subclass. So as long as you make a member data member or member method in the superclass, if they are protected, then actually they can be direct access from the subclass. So then here actually the protected keyword actually is for the inheritance family. So we kind of already talked about that, but we really didn't have the comparison example. So one thing is I want you to read these few slides because we already have the example before it's not protected. So I want you to see for this chart, is that make sense for everything. So you see here we have first package P1, we have C1, C2, and C3. Then C3 in P1 extends from C1. So that means they are inheritance relationship. So then in the package 2, we have C4 and C5. But C4 extends from C1. So after we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes in 2 different packages, how the variable we define in the C1 will affect how they will access in other class. So that's I want you to read. So then if you have any question, write it down. So I will answer your question during the Zoom meeting. Or you can also make your post in the discussion. So that's our module 7. So we finished chapter 11.